Good morning, traders. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 9th of August. This is the Plan Your Trade video for Friday, the 9th of August. Today we are looking at, where did it go? Over here. No, over here. There we are. Today we are looking at a inside breakaway pattern in trending mode. Markets have really formed a pretty big base. So let's take a look here at the data. Sorry, I got a little morning crud I'm getting rid of. But you can see we've had this big rotation, this legging move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down into this mode. So you can see we've had a fairly clear uh, Elliott wave type of structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to here. Now 3, and this could essentially be a large ABC pattern here. We'll see how it plays out. My assumption is that this is complete, and it really is simply because if I take a look at this from a range to range mode, make this bright yellow or something that we can see, and then paste it and try to drag it down, you can see here that this move was complete. So this would probably be ABC up to here, which is really more of a contraction or counter trend ABC pattern up into this area. Yep, that makes a lot more sense. So here we go down to here, larger. So what we have here is really an A, B, C, making an A move, a B move here, and a C move here, correcting. So if I were to put these into context here, this would be an A move here. This would be a B move here, a corrective wave, and this would be a C move down here. And that would give us a fairly clean construct for this rotation. And again, B to C being the largest wave makes sense in this manner, in my opinion. So now we have this corrective wave. We're moving downward. Today is an inside. Oh, today is an inside breakaway. We're looking for the SPY to open inside of yesterday's close. Right now, we're 15 cents inside yesterday's close. The markets are rolling a little bit downward. I will go down here into 10-minute. And of course, spread this out and understand that we should be looking at, let's go back over here and take a look at, well, this has got a lot of data based on yesterday. Let's go back to the 30-minute. Okay, a little bit more sense here. So our Harami pattern never really materialized yesterday. So let me first off tell you that we had a big Harami pattern that almost at the end of the day, it was so cool to watch the SPY try to roll downward right over here. And it was the end of the day, and it was trying to roll down into this area, into here and here. And it was like, oh, perfect. It's just going to roll downward, roll downward. Well, the biasing is to the upside because we're really pulling off this bottom, trying to really revert back up like into this area, 539, upwards up here into this 546 area. Prices trying to revert higher off of this low. And that falls into the category. In fact, I'll get rid of those indicators real quick. That falls into the category that, prices essentially deeply undervalued right now, setting up kind of a deep V base and bottom, and will likely move back into these ranges over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks and or higher. I still believe the markets have a capacity to move dramatically higher. And when I say dramatically higher, I'm talking about, 600, 700, 800 on the SPY, which is a ways away. You'll all agree that that's a big rally. But we have to get through this area first. So where we're at right now is we are looking at an inside breakaway pattern. So I'll get rid of these while my cat whines for some attention. And what I'm going to suggest here is that we are moving today. We have to see some sort of a breakdown in the early morning. Today's inside breakaway means that we have to stay pretty much inside this green and red range in order to have an inside pattern. So the opening price today must be probably somewhere in this area. I would suggest prior to the open, I would expect a opening price below 530 or just near 530, possibly down in the 528 area, back down in this area. And I'm expecting a breakaway. We are flagging. Okay, so you need to understand that as I've drawn this flag formation, we are flagging. And based on these highs, I could probably come up here and readjust this to maybe like this and set the flag out a little further based on the current price action. But that means that today, an inside breakaway, I would be very cautious of any breakdown in price near this middle level. So understand, near this 525 level, I would be very, very cautious of a potential breakdown in price. If this happens, which I don't believe it will, I think this is your make or break area to try to stay bullish or bearish. And I'll take a look at the Fibonacci modeling systems here in a minute. So really, in theory, if we see markets collapse down below 525, then we could see it move into deeper downward trending. Okay. As long as we stay above that 525 area, this area here, I think we're going to see markets open somewhere here in the middle and then move into a move probably up into 536 area, trying to get right up into this area as a fairly solid upward trend. And that's a pretty good move for the SPY today. That would be, again, about a 1.5%, maybe 2% move right up into this 538, 540 area. That would be really, here's another look at the targeting range. That would be a pretty solid move, in my opinion. If we get below this level, like I told you, this make or break level, then we're really kind of looking at this area again as support. And remember, that would likely move our flagging apex out into Monday. Monday is a gap potential, gap 22, right here is a gap breakaway, Monday the 12th. So if we don't get the breakaway today, if we consolidate and or move downward, we will likely be moving into a pattern which is really more about volatility. So if we break down today, hypothetical move here, and we move into this consolidation, we would be moving into an inside breakaway or a gap breakaway on Monday, potentially doing this. So it's nothing more than resolving the flag today. This is all about resolving the flag and determining where we're at. We need to essentially open somewhere here in the middle. So I would expect the SPY to move downward, I would assume, into the open, maybe on some news, maybe on something, but slightly below the 530 area. And that's going to push us into this 528, 529 area as an opening price area. Then maybe weaken into the morning and roll higher. So, I mean, ideally, this is a pretty good example of what I'm expecting. Let me make this dark. This is a pretty good example of what I'm expecting. A roll downward earlier into a rally phase up into this 536, 537 area. I doubt very highly that this breakdown mode is capable, although I would give it about a 20 or 30% chance. It's not It's not the most likely outcome, but just because we're near this flag apex and we've already completed these moves, A, B, C, okay, we need to have a D potential and then an E potential. So we need to get that last little roll down into this potential area over here, which could come today before we see this big rally to the upside. So that's the only reason why I'm suggesting that this area here could prompt some sort of a washout move before we get some big higher rally. So be aware. It could just rally right out of this. Okay. We could be looking at, some type of extended upward flag that I'm not seeing yet. Maybe something like this coming across these areas, and potentially something like this coming across these areas, flagging in that manner. And if we had that type of flag set up, these lows would be non-existent any longer. We'd be looking at a broader acceleration phase. So we kind of need to see where this plays out yet. And I know I've drawn quite a bit on this, so let me get rid of some of these. But the whole idea is to keep you informed. My best advice is that we are going to get either this dark blue line or this dark blue line. I don't believe that this is going to happen. It could happen, and I believe we're really targeting this area here. Let me come back here. I'll leave that out because this would be our alternate. This would be our deeper alternate setup, moving downward. But I believe we have to roll into this channel in order for this flag low to be valid, and or we rally just straight out of this up into the 537, 538, 540 area, and that would set up this move here, this A, B, C, D, E move up to the upside. So there we go. There's your outline today. We really need to watch this area right here, this 525, 526 area. This is going to be our make or break area here today. Below 526 or 525.50, look for bearish trending, a washout low. Above 525, 526.50, if we stay above that area, look for continued upward trending and the possibility that we could be generating this yellow flag. Okay, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Whoa, big move this morning. $62,000. Wow. Okay, well, that 57 grand level, 56, 57 grand highlighted here in green is really acting as support. If I come over here to the daily, it's going to look a lot different. And just a couple of days ago, I highlighted that Bitcoin is going to find support here. It's going to attempt to rally up into this area. You can see potentially setting up a flag, which I drew, and we're already there. We've run right into my support resistance channel right here. Perfect, big move right up into that area. It's almost like it listened to me. And now we're going to be seeing what happens. Next, what happens here, guys, is we're going to get a little bit of a final push, maybe some consolidation up into this area, and then we'll probably start to flag, okay, before we get a next big move up. But, there's still opportunity there, but probably 64,400 or 300 area would be the high. And then we move into a flag formation, setting up before we attempt to move quite a bit higher. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold, I think, is beginning to make a pretty strong move. Weaker today. We've got weakness in the Japanese yen again this morning. We'll see how that plays out, and the NASDAQ this morning. So it's setting up for our pullback into that inside breakaway mode fairly strongly. Gold's move here is basically stalling out right now, which is fine. I think we really need to see this continue to expand upward, and it could take until next week. Remember, gold, next week we have a pretty good rally setting up, in my opinion, in the SPY, and gold moves off of fear. So if we're moving into this weaker move into the Japanese yen, which is not huge, but it is down, it's still unwinding the Japanese yen carry trade and the derivatives markets. We could see a little bit more pressure into gold, but I think this move here really sets up this base bottom. And really, you can almost see the channeling. It's starting to become very clear that we have this broad channeling setting up in this area, and we can just as easily come right back over here, pick these upper channels here. Let's see. Nope, nope, nope. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. I'd have to go right into this area. And so you can see we have this channeling mode setting up. And I would watch for gold to stay in this channel. So at this point, the next leg for gold is up above the 2550 area. And I think that that's fairly common, fairly set in stone right now, that gold is really just working through the risk factor. And remember, gold tends to react to fear with some pullback. So if we get into another fear-based market collapse or market contraction, gold could still consolidate a bit further, maybe down into this 2370 area before we see some real big move. But at this point, gold has moved sufficiently enough. If you got into the recommendation, I said gold would move into a double stage rally. Start to book some early profits now. Really just protect yourself here as we're moving into, potentially some instability today and maybe on Monday. But I do believe the general trend is to the upside. Okay, someone asked me about IWM. Good morning, Kat. I'm going to take a look at IWM here. Big gapping. You have a gap pattern here, gap pattern here, gap pattern here. This is a real solid roll. Now, in something like this where we get this gapping, I like to come over here and take a look at a weekly chart because it is, yeah, this is the spike around the Kamala crush. And again, I have some lines on here. You can see we marked this flag apex A, B, C, D, and then we got the breakout. We came right back down. I'm going to, and then we have this area here, which was another flag. I'll draw this here and draw this here, and then cancel the extend right and cancel the extend right. So where we're at with this, folks, is we've got really a dual flag setup, and we have an apex area that is right here, and this is something you need to pay attention to and learn. So this apexing area, I'm going to draw across basically both of them. So there's the apex here, and here's the apex here. I'm drawing across both of them, and this apex area acts as kind of a make or break level. At this particular point, we've had a washout high, which flushed out all the shorts. We've collapsed, flushed out all the longs. We're building support. We're back above the apex. What I'm going to suggest here, this is again weekly, is that we could see a moderate congestion period before we move back to the upside. Like I said, I really do believe the vortex rally is going to play out very strongly for the U.S. market over the next 12 to 24 months. And we're just shaking out the early stage of this rally phase yet. Okay, I'm up to 20 minutes. I'm going to run out of time here pretty soon. Somebody asked about NVIDIA as well. Okay, let's start with the basic concepts I teach in my training videos. First thing we want to look for is channeling. So we look across here for channeling, make this blue, make this line, make this 2. Okay, there's some channeling. Now let's try to find the upper channel here. Right across rejection. Remember, I love to find rejection. Then let's move into this upper channeling here, across here. Okay, not quite perfect, a little too high. I'll stick with this. And let's make this a darker green. Control CV. Try to find the upper channeling up in this area. Perfect, right off of this area. So you can see how we've moved from this channeling blue to this green channeling here. Do we have a flag formation? No. I don't see a flag formation setting up. Had a little bit of a flag formation right here, which set up in this area. And then pretty much right across here. There was a minor little flag before we broke down. We're down off of this low channeling. We would have to be cautious of a potential breakdown into this area. Could happen. We do have moderate support based on rejection in this area and in this area down here. And of course, way down here, you can see these rejection channels moving right across here. So I would say we're looking to try to move back into this channeling phase. Pretty good buy trigger. You do have to keep your risk or your stop level down in this area right now. You have a pretty solid channeling mode. We have not broken that mode. We have rejected fairly hard right now. Where do I think this could go? Let's go down to the daily. And logically, you have a move here back up into this high, setting up a 116, 117 target area. And then you have filled this gap. So we are going to have a resistance channel right here in this gap fill range. So 124. That's going to set up another resistance area. And so I would say you have a pretty good chance of a rally really taking place, especially if you could buy down in this area. So this gives you a really good buy zone area, but you have then a chance for a rally up to this area, possibly all the way up into this area. And that would be a 15 to 23% rally mode. Okay. All right, 23 minutes, guys. Market's going to open here in about an hour and a half, and we'll talk to you later.